Hello. So I got some more books over the last, I think, 2 months, month and a half, something like that. Actually, no, just 1 month. And I'm going to show my new books. And then if I have time, I'll show some history of philosophy books that I have, because a lot of these books that I got are history of philosophy books. So I would show you all the ones I have. The first one is The First Philosophers, the Pre-Socratics and the Sophists. I don't know much about this book. I do recognize some of the names in here, and I only got it because it is a history of philosophy book. I want to kind of study the subject more thoroughly. And from what I can tell, is a lot of it's actually just like segments of writings from various philosophers in the early times. We don't really have some of them. We don't really have all of their complete works. So it seems like he's just analyzing segments. The Dream of Enlightenment, The Rise of Modern Philosophy. I have his other book as well. I'm not too sure. Maybe my impression was that this was like Enlightenment philosophers and beyond, like up into present time. I don't know. I will let you know when I read it. The Art of Dramatic Writing. So I got this because I'm reading a screenplay book by Sickfield. I think it's Sickfield. I could be wrong. And it's about how to write a screenplay. And in the first page of the book, he doesn't recommend it. He talks about reading this book. And this book is actually for writing plays. But it translates well to screenplays. And I want to actually start reading screenplays and actually like analyzing film and understanding it more and how it's written. So I'm getting some more books on this topic. The next one is a behemoth of a book. It's really big. I didn't realize it was this big when I got it. It's A New History of Western Philosophy. This is a very popular book when it comes to history of Western philosophy. It is probably up there with Bertrand Russell's. I've heard somebody say actually that this was a successor to Bertrand Russell's History of Western Philosophy. But I will read this. It's going to take me a while to read this. It is a lot of pages. It is 900 plus pages. That's a long book. So I'll let you know. I'll probably review this book. I'll let you know how it is. The Enigma of Reason, A New Theory of Human Understanding. So this is a cognitive science book about the modularity debates. In cognitive science, there's this debate about whether the brain is modular or not, or whether reason is modular or not. And I think this argues that it is, and that I think it asserts the existence of some types of modules. Because it's a theory of human understanding, a new theory. I think it's trying to explain human reason. I'm worried it's going to be a bit repetitive because this topic in cognitive science has been so debated, but I don't know. I will probably review that one as well. A Philosophical Enquiry into the Sublime and Beautiful by Edmund Burke. I got this because I'm into aesthetics, and the reason why I really got this book is I just wanted something to read about aesthetics that wasn't going to be too rigorous or too demanding. I could just sit down on like any given afternoon and then read this book for a couple of hours. Don't have to take any notes or anything. That's why I got this. The Origins of Good and Evil, Paul Bloom. So I'm going to make a bunch of videos on evil, and I want to review a bunch of books on evil because I want to write a book on evil. And I decided to get this one. I've seen this in my Amazon recommendations lots and lots of times. I actually don't have high expectations for it to be too good. But we'll see. I don't want to judge a book by its cover. So The New Breed, How to Think About Robots. I got this because I was in as you may have guessed, a mainstream bookstore. And I spent a lot of time looking for a book to get that wasn't bad. And I didn't even really want this because this book I feel like is not representative of the content matter. The title is not. I believe the actual thesis of this book is to compare it to how we treat animals and make analogies and comparisons between animals and humans and how our relationships have formed to then carry that on to robots. I believe that's what it's going to be. And so I imagine we're going to have, look at that, we're going to have a lot of, I don't know, just like small brain arguments. I don't know, I'll give it a chance. The Omnivore's Dilemma in Defense of Food and Cooked. Yeah, so basically, I'm familiar with this book in general. The Omnivore's Dilemma is like the idea that omnivores should be able to eat like lots of things because they were like foraging and like moving around a lot. So how should modern human diets look if we were truly omnivores? And I also got this in the mainstream bookstore. And I do like to read about nutrition sciences. This book came destroyed, and I actually paid full price for it, even though that's fine. I at the time was in a rush. So those are the new books that I got, and this video is not too long. I'll show you my philosophy books, my history of philosophy books. So there is some time left. I'm going to try and go for 10 minutes here. These other books are not new. They're just in the same topic of the history of philosophy. I figured I might as well put them on here. The Dream of Reason, A History of Philosophy from Greeks to the Renaissance. This is the Anthony Gottlieb book. It's another one. I think this is just before the Renaissance time. So the other one is from the Renaissance onward. This one is before, up to the Renaissance. This is a book that everyone also will tell you to get. It is The History of Philosophy by A.C. Grayling. This one is not just Western philosophy, but that being said, the dedications to non-Western philosophy are very little. It's not like there's a bunch of Eastern philosophy in here. It's very little. Like Indian. So it's on the fifth part, right? Indian, Arabic, Persian, African philosophy. It's at the very end of the book, right? Is that correct? Yeah, it's at the very end of the book. It's not a lot. So it might as well be Western philosophy. Early Greek philosophy. This is another book that I got because I wanted to, I think this one I want to add a new chapter to my first book, my Knowing Nothing book, which is this one. I want to add a new chapter on like the history of philosophy. And so I wanted to read some more, and I think that's why I got this one. Dominion. Tom Holland, The Making of the Western Mind. This is technically not Western philosophy, but it goes over Western philosophy quite a lot. And so as a result, I kind of clunk it into like history of philosophy. Yeah. But it's not strictly just philosophy. And then the next one is Bertrand Russell's Behemoth of a Book. I actually started it and then stopped reading it, got to page 61. And I think I stopped reading it because I was reading like 6 books at the time, and I decided, whatever, I'll just put this down and get back to it. But I think I'll also review this book as well. So I'm going to have to actually go back to page 1 and start taking notes. Yeah, this book is the one that people actually think is a garbage book because it's more like Bertrand Russell's opinions about the history of philosophy rather than being a history of philosophy. The Oxford Handbook of Epistemology. I actually don't think this belongs here. I think this is actually more, I don't think there's any history of philosophy in here, is there? No, this is actually just an overview. This does not belong here. And then this also might not, The Frontiers of Knowledge. I don't think this is either a history of philosophy book, but you can see it's maybe like tangentially related. It's kind of like a history of science book. Or like the rise of science, technology before science, the scientific world picture, stuff like this. So those are some of the books that I recently got. They were like a book haul, and then some of the other history of philosophy books that I have. That being said, guys, if you have books that you want me to buy, again, please just comment below. I buy a lot of books that you guys recommend, and bye for now.